This is a short review for the Braun PureFlavor. I believe it is the KF560 coffee maker. So it's a pretty standard drip coffee maker. It does have, you've got the whole removable thing here that you can clean. It does have a mesh kind of, it does have a mesh mesh filter, but they do recommend putting a paper filter in there. And obviously, if you're just going to use the mesh filter, it's going to be very, very weak. With a paper filter, it makes pretty good drip coffee, you know, like pretty standard. I always put on bold, and even on bold with dark roast coffee, it's pretty, it's smooth. It's not weak, but it's smooth. But I find the regular or the fast is very watery, but I like mud, you know, so it's a preference. But it operates pretty standard to other coffee makers. You should keep the manual and the little cheat sheet when you get this, because it's a little weird to set up the time or something. You always have to make sure it's on when you're setting stuff on, even though when it's off, it still has the time displayed. You always want to make sure to press on before you do anything. The other thing too is that it does come with a hard water filter. It's in the tank. I don't really want to remove it right now, but there's a plunger in here, and you just kind of remove the stick and you can change it out. We have very soft water, so I don't know how often I'll have to use it, but if you're on well water, obviously that's a very big benefit. Now, I've done the regular coffee for about 2 weeks, and like I said, on bold, I find it smooth and fine. It's obviously not going to be like an espresso-based beverage, but it's pretty decent. It also, as you can see, this is the white model, but it does look nice. It is a stylish coffee maker. You've got the water indication here. So I'm just going to do the, yep, so you turn this off. So there you go. So over ice and bold. So again, while you need the instruction manuals, over ice is like iced coffee, but you brew the pot without ice in it. You just brew it normally, and then you mix ice in afterwards. But the over ice will keep the hot plate from turning on, so it won't keep heating the coffee once it's brewed. And it'll hopefully cool it off pretty well. I'm going to pause now and come back once it's done brewing. Alright, so I brewed the cold coffee. So it's still hot, obviously, just like a normal brew process. But then you mix in ice cubes, and so I don't know. I'm probably not going to drink this on the review, but I know that they drum up the over ice kind of coffee on here, and yeah, it makes sense that you're not actually making the coffee over the ice on this machine, because the glass would probably shatter. But it's not exactly over ice. It's just brew a regular pot of coffee with the heat plate off, and then just put some ice cubes afterwards. But it's not a bad machine overall. I've been using it for a couple of weeks, and like I said, it looks spiffy. It brews perfectly fine drip coffee. It's nothing fancy, but it's reliable. The one thing is, like I said, keep the instruction manual so you'll know how to set the clock and stuff. I've had trouble setting clocks, setting the temperature and things like that, because I always forget to turn it back on before doing the buttons, because the clock being on the whole time kind of confuses me. What the? Okay, well, I don't know what the over ice does anymore because I think the hot plate was actually on. So yeah, that's, or was it? It's pretty hot. Might just be from the pot being there. Go over ice. You know, maybe I should have. Okay, temperature set. See, I find the buttons unresponsive as well. Oh. Yeah, there's no like off. Yeah, so it's a pretty standard drip coffee maker.
Replace it on a schedule. Overall, this makes coffee really well. You see there's a bold setting, which is the one that I use most of the time for hot coffee, but I also like the cold brew setting quite a bit. It it does a great job. The only kind of nit I have with this machine is that you have to you can't select how many cups just from the machine. So you can't just like fill up the tank all the way to have like different servings at different times. Whatever amount of water you put in the tank, that's what it's going to make. So I mean, it's just like any other old school coffee machine in that way. But I mean, I guess I would have liked if I could have just said, 8 cups this time. It still has water for another 4 or 8 cups next time or something like that. Anyway, but overall, it makes really good coffee, even without putting the extra filter down in here. It's on the bold setting. It makes a really nice bold cup of coffee. It's pretty quick as well, and it keeps it nice and warm. Good temperature control with that hot plate down there. No issues at all. So good value on this machine.
So I've just received this coffee maker, unboxed it. I tried to run a full 14 cups of water through it as per the instructions, and suddenly this clean light comes on. I have pressed the clock button for 5 seconds as in the instructions, and nothing happened with the clock even after trying to set it. I can't even select the bold or the temperature. So I really had high hopes for this coffee maker, but as you can see, I think it's cleaning and there's coffee in there. And so it's producing a very rapid amount of coffee. It is heating up the water, but I want coffee. I don't want this to be in perennial clean. Anyway, not a big fan of this coffee maker, and I've tried everything. I've followed the instructions to a T, and I cannot get any of these buttons to work. So obviously defective. It's going back.